What's good, beautiful people? It's your boy Clay Hodges.
Trelani Michelle.
And Sheridan.
And we are the kitchen table. We are at the kitchen table. And we want to thank you for tuning into another installment, another episode. You already know how we do. For those who don't know, we give you the appetizer, the entree, dessert, and and the to-go box. There we go. We give you the to-go box as well. We give you something to go away with today. You know, the big homie Willie couldn't make it because he's on vacation. He is traveling the world right now, being a seasoned traveler that he is. So, you know, we gonna hold it down. I'm gonna hold it down with the queens and the goddesses. You know what I'm saying? That's how we gonna do it this episode, right? Chill. But guess what, man? Let's get into this appetizer, y'all. What's going on? What's going on? Give us something to wet my palates.
Yeah, so it's a lot of really, really dopeness going on. And I don't want to just limit it to Hollywood and film, but I'm going to start there. Yeah. And so one of them being Regina King, who I'm always enamored with, period. Yes. Period. Not even a city girl way, but
you look like her.
I was gonna say that. That's what when I used to work when I was a teenager, I worked in shoe stores, Finish Line, Foot Locker, Foot Action, Champs, all of them. And everybody will come in the store and be like, "You look like Regina King." Like I would hear it at least once a day. I told my old man
when you brought her up. And I looked at you and I was like, "Oh shit, you look like her." And then didn't until you said it. I would have never.
I don't see it. I don't see it. The people closest to me don't see it, but I love her though, so I take it. You hear that, girl?
Yeah, shout out Regina K, girl. You did your thing.
And she did her thing one night in Miami, which I only seen half of it. Clay seen the thing,
I seen the whole thing.
What network is it on?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Lord have mercy.
Yes.
Because I remember, you know, Sheridan, one time before we was on the phone talking about the banker, right? Or was it me? And I don't know what we was talking about. Bro, if you love the banker, you gonna love this right here. This movie,
I gotta watch it then.
Was so powerful. For those who don't know, it's a dramatized story and telling of an actual night that happened when Cassius Clay, you know, now we know him as Muhammad Ali, won the heavyweight championship of the world. So that night, him, Malcolm X, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke all met in the hotel. The details of that meeting are still unknown to this day, but we speculate. We can only speculate what they will be talking about because the power and the influence of these four brothers. So guess what? They dramatized it, and they kind of gave an interpretation of what could have possibly happened that night. And I love the dynamic in which they portray all of those four kings. Like, first of all, the casting was on point. You know, the actors did their thing down to the, you know, wardrobe did their thing, the way they looked, the way they carried themselves, the way they talked, the accents that they portrayed was all on point. I love how each and every one of them had their own personality, and they came to the table with their own personality, and it was conflict within that. It was resolution within that. It was just beautiful, man. It was just beautiful. I was like, Lord have mercy. Like, everybody got to see this. I shared it on Instagram. I was like, bro, y'all got to see this, bro. This movie is powerful. It's beautiful.
Yes.
I don't have Amazon Prime. Somebody want to send me the link?
I got you.
Yeah, we got you, right? Yeah, we don't, man. Come on now. Yeah. Lord, Sheridan, you gotta check that out, man. That thing is powerful.
Nah, I love Malcolm X. Like, whenever I think about the debate, which isn't even really a debate, but if you debate like Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, like who would you prefer? I was always with Malcolm. Like, I was always I love him. And I need to finish his autobiography. I keep starting it and then getting halfway through and then just not finishing.
Right. Man, I felt the same way. The same thing with me. Like, so I never really bought a copy. I always borrowed it. But every time I got around to reading it, they always wanted it back. Hey, let me get it back. So it's like, I need to go. I thought after watching it, I need to go ahead and buy me a copy of that and read it because they kind of showed love to his autobiography in the movie. I was like, he was like, yeah, I ain't gonna tell y'all what he said. But it was like, it was like, dang, yeah, I need to read this. Essentially, what he was just saying is, it's a lot going on, and I feel like I need to document my life in my own words while I had a chance. And it was like, bro, I need to read this. I need to read it. I need to go ahead and get right. But I feel you though, Sheridan. Like I'm a big Malcolm X fan myself. Like at first, it was Martin Luther King because that's all I knew. That's all they taught us in school.
Yeah. Well, they don't teach us about Malcolm X in
they
school.
did. He was like
they demonize him.
Right. He was the other. Like they was like, oh yeah, Malcolm X too. He's the other. But he was
like one sentence about him in there.
Yeah, but he was.
Although what I
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. Although what I will say is, I think we needed both of them.
Right.
We needed both extremes. It's not either or. Both of them needed. And what did they even say at the end of Martin Luther King's life? Like he was more along Malcolm X's stance, but of course they don't teach us about that in school.
But on the flip side too, Malcolm also, I ain't gonna say he's soft and he opened up towards the end of his life as well.
He did.
Yeah. He once made his trip to Mecca. I read the autobiography twice.
Yes, he changed his perspective.
Well, tell us.
Yeah, we went to Mecca. That's when he had already, by the time he went to Mecca, to my understand, if I'm remembering correctly, he had already was disassociated with the Nation of Islam. And so, he made that trip. And while he was there, he said he communed with so many white brothers. And he learned too that, Islam isn't just a Black religion as we, as it had looked and become accustomed to in America. But over there, he was like, he met with white men who were like brothers. And from that and coming back, and he was like, it's not a white man, it's the devil type of ordeal,
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. His mind began to open, like both of them towards the end of their life.
Right. And almost can find a middle ground.
Exactly. It was like they, and I heard that they were actually thinking about doing something together. And like,
I could see that.
Yeah. And Martin Luther King, his ideas went from, inclusion to, no, we need economic power. And then when he started getting to that turning point, he got
they're just both so important. It's like you just said, at the end of their lives, they started to come together, and that's when they both got murdered. Right. Once they were on the same accord, once they realized that, oh, you might be right, but you might be right too, and two things can be right at the same time.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. And it's crazy. So like, it's Martin Luther King Day today too, by the way, as we were.
Oh, that's right.
Shout out MLK. Yeah. And you know what I heard too? This is what I heard too before we move on. I heard actually, and I'm not sure how true this is, but I heard from people who are close to him that he actually was more aligned with the idea of, no, we really do need to defend ourselves. We really, if we need to have violence, that's what it is. But he understood his power, and he understood that if he told people that it would create conflict, and he didn't want to put us in compromising situation. So he took the stance of nonviolence to protect, his followers. Now I heard that, and I don't know how true that is, but I heard that from somebody who apparently was close to him. But I was like, that's dope if that's true right there,
Well, it makes sense because it's like a lot of people would have died. A lot of people were already dying, but a lot more people would have died.
And it also sucks too. Like I always said that I want to go back and read a lot of his speeches, to go back and listen to them in full, because I think a lot of times, and I think a public school curriculum, I don't want to conspire whether it's intentional or not, but we're drilled the same. We're drilled the same stories over and over and over and over, to where it's like, I've never cared to read. Like we had this intrigue with Malcolm and Huey P. Newton because we never really heard about it in school. But Malcolm, we heard him so much. Who the hell wanted to go back and read The Mountaintop and I Have a Dream? It felt like we heard it so many times, but we haven't. You know what I'm saying? All we heard was like the same really 4 lines from him. So I was like, I want to go back and listen to those speeches in full.
I feel that. It was a little stint in my life in which I wanted to do the same thing. and I tried to do it on YouTube, but I couldn't hang. I don't know what it is,
I'm
man.
gonna try. Yeah.
Man, you try. You know
I'm
when
gonna
you
try because I had
sincere.
the same bouts too, where I'd be like, "Ooh."
Yes, yes. Relay it to us,
Yeah,
please, because
I
I
will.
couldn't
Please
hang.
do.
Cause I only and not to when I say I read the autobiography of Malcolm X twice, that wasn't on my own doing. I got a child. Whenever like my son, whenever like he fuck up, that'd be one of his punishments. He got to read the book. In order to know he really reading that motherfucker, I got to read it too. So that's the only reason.
Oh, that is dope that you do that kind of punishment, man. That
I
is dope
love
right
It
there.
is. I love it, but then I've also come to, as we grow, we evolve, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop doing that because I don't want him to start associating reading with punishment. And he ain't gonna want to read, you know what I'm saying, on his own, because that was punishment.
Right, I feel that.
So, yeah.
He gonna appreciate that later though. He is gonna appreciate that
He
later.
will. I hope so. I pray so.
He is. He'll be like, you know what? It makes sense though. You know, my mama did make me. I hated it back then, but y'all appreciate it now. But yo, that is beautiful though, man. Let's get into this. Let's get into this entree, y'all, man. So entree, what we talking about today? We talking about leaps of faith. We talking about those big jumps in life. Some of you might be thinking about doing a big drastic change in your life. Maybe it's quitting your job or moving to a different city or starting that business or writing that book that you always want to write. Whatever it is, like it's on your mind and you're thinking about it, but it's still that fear there. We're gonna share some times and moments in which we experienced that when we had to take those big steps, those big leaps of faith, and just kind of talk about what happened once we done that. I'm a firm believer that there's beauty on the other side of fear, and that comforts me in those times when I'm afraid to take those leaps. Ladies, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and start. Whichever one of y'all want to take the floor, just share with the people a moment, a time in which you had to take a big giant leap of faith.
All right, I'll start. I think I told the story so many times I can condense them a little bit, but I appreciate Sheridan. Like before we started, she was like, "That's my whole life." I'm gonna repeat that now because that's my whole life. And so, but I think one of my first big ones was quitting my job. So that was in 2012 when I decided, and I had even my mentors, I hit them up and was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. I really want to do this. What do you think?" And they asked me a few questions. It was like, "I don't know, maybe you shouldn't do it right now. You probably want to, either save this amount." And I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway. And I still did it. So that was one of my biggest ones. Another one of my biggest ones was taking my kids out of.
Let me ask you real quick. What? So just give us some context, just for the viewers.
Okay.
Yeah, please. I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Or
because that's big. That's big.
It was.
Huge. So I want to focus on that.
All right. So I was working as a 911 operator, and I'd been doing that for 4 years. While I was doing that, I was also in school. I was at Savannah State, and so I had graduated from Savannah State.
Wait, you were a 911 operator?
Yeah.
What?
You see me over here bubbling up.
Like? I've never. I was like, what the fuck? Me and you both. We're both like, what?
What the fuck? You was doing what?
I lived all the lives.
I've never met a 911 operator, number one. And number two, how do you become a 911 operator? Like, you got to go to school for it? You got to get special training? Like,
yes, it is a training. It's a 6-month long training, but it's just a job application. You just go to, for the Savannah, you just go to the city of Savannah website, fill that motherfucker out.
Well, I bet you heard some crazy shit, though.
What? So that's a whole nother conversation later. But
are you in an office or are you at your house taking calls?
No, you're totally at in Savannah, it's probably different. You're at the police precinct. And so we had our own room in the precinct, and it was like all of us in there together. And we did not get a lunch break. We was working that bitch straight up. Wow. And even if because you were on a channel, so if you want to get up, somebody would have to hold your channel for you. So even if you had to take a call, go to the bathroom, it had to be really quick. Somebody would get up and go get their food for everybody, bring it back, and you eating while you working. It was very stressful. Very stressful. All right, so
hold on. One more question before we move on. Okay. So was the phones blowing up all the time?
All the time. Well, I ain't gonna say all the time, because sometimes we did have down periods, and that kind of led into how I started doing what I do too. But when we were busy, which one you said it's more crime during full moons, that's a real shit. Like we knew if it was a full moon that day, it was like, y'all ready? All right. Yeah, and Christmas and Thanksgiving, those are the busiest days. Like people are crazy as fuck on full moons, Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
What about summer? Because I heard murder rates go up in the summer because it's so hot.
It's hot. I won't remember that much, but I do remember it was a lot of car accidents in the summertime. Okay. Yeah. And I don't even and if it would be a heat thing, I don't even think people meant to be murdering because they're hot and frustrated. I think that's more so because people are out and about. When it's cold, you more so in the house. Mm-hmm. When it's hot, we out and about and interacting with other motherfuckers, so it's more likely to happen. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so as a 911 operator for 4 years, so during the slow period sometimes, because we would switch shifts every so many months. And overnight, sometimes it would be really dead at night, and I'd be reading books. That's how I kind of passed my time. And I was reading like 4 sorry ass books in a row, and I was like, you know what, I can do this by myself. And so I was like, I started writing this book, and then I found this, and I was like, well, I need some resources and like how to make this thing happen. I don't even know what to do. What's the next step? So I found this writers conference in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I went down, didn't even pay my I think I skipped my car note and my light bill that month just to be able to afford the registration to go. And I went and I met all these amazing already established authors, all these connections, all these resources, and published my book and got started there. Well, I knew I didn't want to be a 911 forever. So one of my former professors at Savannah State, I had already graduated, she hit me up and was like, hey, are you still writing? Can you send me some of your writing samples? So now I'm the new director over this particular department at Savannah State. And I would love to hire you to come out and you can give writing workshops to the students. And and I was like, oh my God, this is a dream come true. So I took that job and I was doing it and I loved it. But that's when I realized I think I'm meant to work for myself, because I technically had the dream job, but I still didn't want to be there. Like I was, my mind, I was doing so many other things and so many other opportunities. I had published my first book and I was started working on my second book, and I was meeting more people, and people were asking me, hey, can you write my book? Can you help me write my book? So it was so many other opportunities opening up. And so when I had started, working on that, and then I was just like, you know what? That's when I was like, I only have like 1 or 2 clients. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I'm done working with them, but I'm about to just take this leap of faith and do this shit. And I did that shit. And then not after that, another leap of faith was taking my kids out of school and was like, you know what, I'm a homeschool y'all. And then from homeschooling, I'm a unschool y'all. So we ain't even gonna use no curriculum. We just gonna do this natural learning type of thing. And that was 1 or 2 reasons. My son, I felt like as a Black boy, they were making him feel bad and stupid in school. Right. Because they were always complaining about his conduct. And then they were always
You broke up. You
no.
said
okay. Which part did you hear last?
What you said about your son. You were like,
okay. I felt like my son, as a Black boy, particularly because as a teacher too, I realized this what happens. School has a way of making Black boys feel dumb and bad. Mm-hmm. Like both of those things can happen. And he was on that path to that happening to him. So I pulled him out. My daughter was excelling, doing really well in school. But I just pulled her out too, because I was just like, the pressures and her mental health was drastically being affected in a crazy way. And I was like, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. So we pulled her on up out of there. Well, so that was another leap of faith. That was scary because a lot of people, they applaud, oh, you homeschooling, but they also do this thing where they assume that if you're homeschooling, you're supposed to be skyrocketing. You're supposed to be achieving way better than the kids in school. That's what they want to see. Those are the stories that we hear on Facebook and stuff all the time. And so, and it's like, and if that's not happening, they're unsure. They be like, well, what do you want to be? And what are you learning? And my kids be like, first of all, back up, because my kids that's not their vibe. So, that was I didn't have a lot of support around that decision. And so that was another one. And then one of my latest ones was getting a divorce. And so, because nothing was wrong. And I like to tell that story because it's not like
you told me about that in Atlanta.
Oh, good. Okay. I don't even remember that.
You told me a little bit about it when we were in Atlanta.
Because he wasn't physically or emotionally or verbally abusive to me. He wasn't cheating on me. It was just, I just knew that if I needed to grow, that was an environment that I could grow and be my best self in. And that's what he's not a bad man. It's like, and that's hard to do. You're at war with your own mind. Like, what if I'm leaving and ain't nothing better out there? Am I tripping? What am I doing? But it's just like, I just knew that I needed different. And in addition to that move too, is like, and I want to leave this city. Right. So I left my marriage and I left Savannah, Georgia, and I went to Washington, D.C. and I started over.
Hold on. And before we move on, real quick, I want you to tell us and tell the people what happened after you did. So you quit your job.
Oh,
What you
yes.
quit your job, you pulled your children out of school, and you left your marriage. What was the outcome of all of this for you?
Ooh, all right, I'm gonna do all that as fast as I can too. So leaving my job, of course, it has its up and downs. I had the broke periods. I had the periods where I had to figure that shit out because when you're not working for nobody, of course, you are accountable for you. So you have a lot of free time. So I'm used to waking up, having to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get ready and doing all this stuff. I ain't gotta do that no more. So now I can sleep in. But now I'm sleeping and then I'm waking up. It's as long as I have a client, I got work to do. So I had to figure out a routine. I had to figure out this marketing thing, this branding thing. I had to figure out what authenticity in the business space meant to me. And so it was a whole lot of up and down. Of course, you got days when you balling out of control. Like I was like, ooh, like I had my months where I was making like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. And it just be like, I'm leaving. I'm about to go to South America, So
Right.
traveling, I'm dipping. But then you have your months too where shit, when all I made was $90 that whole month. And it's just like, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. You just forced. So it's like, but I learned so much. And even with the money thing, and then you learn, okay, them balling months, bitch, put something up. Cause you know how it's gonna be when summertime it's gonna get a little slower for you. And so now I'm at a point where it's like, I'm fine. It's like, I'm fine. That comes and goes. 2020 taught us all that, bitch, you think you fine, but you know what I mean? But it's like overall, for the most part, I kind of got a good control of this thing and knowing how to. So it was beautiful. Leaving my job was the most beautiful thing I could have ever done for my family, for me, but also for my family, because when I was going to work all day and having to come home and then be a mom, I'm fucking tired.
Right.
I don't have a lot of patience for a lot of things. But now that, when I'm home, it's a better rhythm. The same thing with taking them out of school. So I took them out of school. It's like our relationship improved, and we learned each other better, me and my children. It's like, and I don't have to control them or force them. It's like we move in cooperation. My daughter but I'm open to them too. Like she even just told me, I don't feel like I have any input in the chores. Like you just give them to me. And so it's like, so we figure out a way to make that fairer, So it's like not necessarily that you're gonna have easy chores and no chores, but we're gonna make it in a way where it feels like you have some decision making, because that's really important to me, that I raise children who become informed. They know how to make decisions.
Straight
I want
up.
them to, that was important to me. And then what was the other one?
Leaving your marriage.
Leaving my marriage was, whew,
I just want to say, before you get on that, I just want to say that I love that you raise your kids. Like, it is very unorthodox, but I mean that in the best way possible. Like, I don't hear all the time people talking like you do. Like, treat your kids like little humans, you know?
Yeah, I always
And
say that I
most
don't do adult to
parents,
child. I do
especially,
person to person. Yeah.
yeah, and especially a lot in Black families specifically, the way you grow up, it's like adults tell you what it is. You don't ask any questions. Even if you don't understand, you don't ask. It's
Right.
very much
It's a
adults
dictatorship.
showing children their power. Like, I'm the one
Yeah.
in charge and I want you to know, and I'm gonna make you know that.
But ain't that what
And
leaps of faith is all about? Because it's like with parenting, we usually do what was done to us. So we just repeat it, like, because we think we turn out all right. So it got to be, that's the way to do it. So a leap of faith is always doing something different, you know what I'm saying, than the way that the blueprint that was given to you. You like, nah, actually, I'm going to go this way. So it's, and it's not easy because like you don't have a blueprint. You don't have a way to do it. And so it's just, it's hard, but it's rewarding. It's so rewarding. And so, and that's how leaving my marriage was too. And it was just like, that one was almost like immediate. And because I think through a lot of experiences, even like I said, even with my children, building relationships with them, that wasn't just in a vacuum. That wasn't just with me and them. Like that spread. I learned how to build relationships and be in community with all people, including my ex-husband at the time. So when we divorced, of course we had our emotions involved in it, but it was very amicable. Like we were friendly through it. We really, no beef, and And man, that was just beautiful. And so and now I'm in a relationship, fast forward 2 years. I gave myself that time, a year. I was like, for 1 year, I'm not gonna do no dating. Like, I want to feel all the feelings. I want to do all the questioning. I want to do all that headspace stuff. And I did that. In the second year, I did some dating. And I was like, ooh, it's all right now. Just filling that out. And I was like, I might not get in nothing else. I don't know. But then, and then it came to me. And so now the relationship that I'm in now, this feels like everything that I needed. So I never try to speak future tense and be like, this gonna last forever, never, never, amen. It'd be beautiful, it do, but how it feels right now, how it's been feeling for the last year, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I've been craving and needing and wanting. And actually, like, I had always, and during that year of dating, I had created this list of like, I call it gimme. God, give me. Yeah. And it was like, and I was just adding characteristics that I wanted in my partner, whether that was going to happen to be a woman or a man. I was just like, gentle and great with kids and open and love to travel and is on is healthy and not just because of me and is money conscious without being penny pinching. And I had all this long ass list that I felt like, and I had my list of things that I was like, this is required, or I'm flexible with this one, but in this motherfucker who rolled up in my life was just like, yeah. Like, thank you, God. So
yeah. That's beautiful that you develop like a certain standard, what you're looking for, what you like, what you don't like, so that like, okay, this person come, let me see if they checking on these. Okay, cool. Okay, my nigga, I see you.
Because I'm a Pisces, going back to our zodiac conversation. Like, I fall in love fast. I can fall in love fast. So I have to give myself time to come back down and then decide. Like, don't decide while you all high and in love and love. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Wait, you come down and I think about this shit again.
yeah, I feel you. So Sheridan, what about you, man? Share some moments with us, like when you had to take a major leap of faith.
I'm sorry, my internet is being very funny right now.
It's all good. I was just saying, share with us a moment or times when you had to take a leap of faith.
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like my whole life, everything I've done has been a leap of faith. Just damn, I don't even know where to start. Like, okay, I'll start with probably the first thing that I can remember. I'll never forget, I was at SCAD. It was my sophomore year, I think. And my dad had gotten me the loan, but he got denied this time. So I didn't have enough money to go to SCAD. And I was just like, I was just preparing to like pack up and go home. And my family was like, They were like, you're a writer. You need to write a letter. You need to send it to everyone you can at SCAD. And you need to ask them for more money. And they were like, because that's what rich people do. If rich people don't have money, they ask for more money. And the reason that people don't get money is because they don't ask.
Close mouth don't get fed.
And I was like, what? I was like, that's not going to work. Like, and they're like, write the letter. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does, you're back in SCAD. I wrote a letter. Do you know that people found some money for me? They were like, oh, we found this money.
Wow.
Here you go. And then I went back. And then after that, my dad got approved for the loan for the next quarter. But it was just like, if I hadn't have written that letter, I wouldn't have finished college.
Wow.
It was crazy, yeah.
But they found it in, like, they found it. Like, it was in the broom closet.
Basically, yeah. It was like some scholarship fund that I don't even know, but
oh, that's dope as hell right there.
Yeah, because we didn't have no money. It was all, but my mom, like the way I was raised, and even my dad, like RIP, but he was always, both of them were the type of people, like, if you want something, like don't ever think your dream is too big. Always dream big. If you want this, you go get it.
Straight
up. So it's kind of like the way that I was raised. And even so, okay, I guess that was the first one that I could remember. And then probably the second one, moving to California, because when we moved here, like, I didn't have a job. Neither of us had a job moving here, and we didn't have an apartment to come to. Right. But I knew when I met EJ 5 years ago now, when I met him, I was like, look, like, I'm planning to move to California. This is going to happen sometime in my near future. I don't know when, but if you're not trying to move to the West Coast anytime soon, we don't even need to start anything.
Right, right.
Like, well, I've always wanted to move out west, Okay.
Yes, yes.
So it's kind of crazy because I almost expected him to be like, nah, I'm good. But then when he said, like, I'm interested, I was like, okay, like maybe we can make this work. But
Right.
with California, it was like we just saved up a bunch of money. We saved. We worked our asses off. And then we came out to visit for a week in August 2019. And we thought we were going to sign a lease when we came out here, but we got out here and it did not go that way at all. People, the way it works out here, they want you to have a job. And then they're like, oh, it don't matter how much money is in your bank account. They don't care.
Right.
So we went back, having not signed a lease, but we were like, we're going to make this happen anyway. So we packed up all of our things and we put a hitch on the back of my Camry. We put the stuff in a U-Haul and we drove 3,000 miles across the country, not knowing where we were going to work, where we were going to live, anything. We just knew.
Right.
So when we got here, my sister had said we could stay on her couch for 2 weeks or whatever. So we're like, okay, cool. Well, as soon as we get to LA, my credit score dropped about 100 points, 120 points.
Wow.
Because a car accident that I had gotten into from 2017 that I ended up going through litigation for, they were supposed to have handled that, but they didn't. So it dropped on my credit 3 years later. The day that I arrived to LA, my credit score dropped and we had to look for an apartment.
Wow.
And it was insane. It was so crazy. But we stayed on her sofa for a week because after that week, her roommate was just like, what's up? And we were like, all right, we make some shit shake. So we ended up getting this Airbnb. We got the Airbnb for like a whole week and the Airbnb ended up being horrible. That's a whole nother story.
Wow.
But we got approved for a place. We just ended up getting, we've been searching, applying. We got approved for this a studio apartment in Koreatown, $1,400 a month.
Oh, wow.
But we got in and that's what mattered. And then I got a job at a chocolate shop. He got a job and then it just worked out from there.
Yes.
But that was probably the biggest leap of faith because the way we did it, we road tripped across the country. And I'll tell you guys a story one day. I think I told you, Clay, a little bit about it because it's just the craziest fucking story ever. But when we left Savannah, went to South Carolina to see my family, still didn't know where we were going to live, drove to Atlanta to see his family and some more of my family. And we were having brunch with my cousins like the morning before we were going to leave. And they're like, so like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, we don't have a job or a place, but we got a bunch of money. And I just knew in my soul, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Straight
and
up.
Nothing fucking matters. Like, it's all going to work. I just knew it was going to work out. And it did.
Wow.
That definitely would be the biggest leap of faith that I've taken.
Yes. Moving to a whole different place, a whole different state,
whole different coast,
whole different coast.
That's
with no job and no place to stay.
Yep. We didn't have either. And we had met when we came out here for that week in August. We met this guy who ended up being a scammer, but he was supposed to help us find a place. And he kept stringing us along. And then finally he just started reaching out to us.
Wow.
Wow. That's fucking crazy. Man, but you out there in LA now, y'all got another space. Y'all look comfortable up in there.
Yep. Now we got a 2-bedroom apartment with friends from Savannah. We got jobs. Like, it's just, I just feel like when you have a purpose and you figure out what your purpose is, or you figure out where you're supposed to be and you go for it, nothing is going to stop that from happening. Because if it's for you, it's for you.
Right.
Straight up.
Right. And you don't, if you can't just let obstacles knock you off your rocket either. Like, you don't even let the scammer or any other thing just be like, all right, it must not be meant to be. We just gonna go on back home, try again another year.
No, hell no.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And let me tell you some crazy
Yeah.
shit. When we were in New Orleans, Trelani, when we were in motherfucking New Orleans, we were there for 4 days, left the car in a garage. When we came to leave, so the day we were supposed to leave to head to LA, of course, we stayed out all night the night before. So we were hungover the next day. We woke up late. So we checked out our Airbnb late. And we go to the car, which had been sitting in this garage for 4 days. And we left. Do you know there were ants in my car? Like, they had gotten in, they were coming out the vents, they were in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked up the meaning of ants, what it means, and it literally means like letting you know that a journey is going to be tough, because ants are resilient,
Yeah, and
they work hard, like
Mm-hmm.
almost like a sign from the universe, like this shit's not going to be easy that you're about to embark on, but it'll be worth it. Because I couldn't get out my car with the ants coming out. The only thing we could do, we went to the car wash, because I was Googling real quick. I'm freaking out and I'm Googling. And they're like, you just need to. So we went to the car wash and that's what we did. But it was crazy.
That's crazy. I just seen some ants in my Airbnb too. Like they was like randomly like crawling on my shoe. There was no there. I got the Airbnb is clean. There's nothing that will be in there for them. I just already seen that as a sign too. Like, okay.
Yeah, because exactly the same thing. How did the ants get in my car? My car was clean. It was in a garage. So the fact that they're there randomly,
yeah, that's a message. It's a message, and that's how I took that too. Because this is the Airbnb. Like, granted, I'm gonna get into mine. Granted, I just moved back to Georgia. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. Moved to California. Been out there for a year and a half, and just moved back. Get into my Airbnb, and I see ants all over my shoe. It's like it's time to get it. It's time to get it. That's what I thought. I was like,
here we
it's
go.
time to
This
get
is what it says. These tiny insects travel long distance to bring food to the anthill, and they can carry 20 times their weight. The ant's spiritual meaning is hard work, perseverance, discipline, and endurance.
There we go. And then Pete, the first part, they travel long distances. Come on now. Y'all was going to Cali. I just came back out this way. You feel me?
You just came back. Yeah, exactly. That's why you saw the ants. Like, they're there to remind you this shit's not going to be easy, but you can do it. Yes. Just like the ant.
Just like the ant. Hey, folks, spirit animals is real. Like, spiritual meanings behind animals is real. I believe that God communicate to us and through us through all means, even nature. So I know some of y'all might be experiencing that. Y'all might have seen something weird out of place that shouldn't be there. Sometimes it just be a message. And just, real quick, look it up. Whether you seeing numbers or animal, just look it up real quick, man. You're going to see like, okay, this is relevant to my life and I see what's going on.
But before you look it up, because I'm going to say that too, I try not to look it up first. I try to use my own spirit, my own intuition first to see what it might mean. Try to do that first, even if it's just for a second. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do your guess first, see what come up for you first, and then look it up. Sometimes it'd be even more mind blowing when that shit line up. My shit, you be like, whoa, or maybe it might say something different, but it don't matter because I don't think because whoever posted it online ain't necessarily more right than you. But just see what come up for you too.
Yeah. Because it means something. It means something.
It does. It always does. The universe always talks to you. You just got to be able to listen. And so often we're distracted because of technology. And that's another leap of faith. I went to Hong Kong in college, went for 3 months, but that was the thing that I learned there. I learned because my phone didn't work in a different country. I couldn't afford to pay for it to work. I would constantly get lost. I would lose my maps, all that shit. So I had to use my intuition, and that's what it taught me. The universe is always talking to you. You just have to be able to clear the haze and hear them.
Straight like that, boy. Straight like that. Man, let me tell mine real quick, and then we gonna move on. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna hold the listeners up, but y'all always coming with it, man. Always coming with it. But my leap of faith, like first one I want to say is like I decided to do an art show. I want to do an art exhibition. So I usually do music shows and music concerts at this point of me doing it, and my shows have been successful. Like I would have hundreds of people come to my shows to see me perform, and them shits to be set the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like sound, had a band with me. You know what I'm saying? People that have opened up be on point, like the shows be on point. So I have friends who, a lot of artsy friends. I have friends who are painters and photographers and this and that and sculptors. And I wanted to put together an art show to support my album that was coming out. And that was scary for me because I didn't know the first thing about doing the art show. I know I went to art exhibitions, so I was like, okay, I kind of see how they go, but let me actually do it. And I did it. I was like, fuck it. Hollered at my homies to take pictures and paint. I said, man, let's do it. We came together. We did it. You know, I did the marketing online. We had a really great turnout. I made the most money at that event than I made in any of my shows. It was just a beautiful night, beautiful experience. And that showed me that I can do this
Wow.
outside of just doing curating music concerts. I can do events, period. And it don't matter.
Yes.
So I was like, okay,
When
cool.
did you do this?
Man, this had to, what was this, 2018? Yeah, 2018. 2018. Around
Wow.
December or November, one of them. 2018. At the end of the year, it was me, Tiffany Skyers, Emerald Arguelles, Jasmine. Damn, why Jasmine last name is escaping me right now? But and Jazz. We had came together and did a show, and my homeboy, he had sculpted a lamb because the project's called Mary's Lamb. He had sculpted a lamb, like, and we did like a raffle to give it away. Like, it was really dope, man. It was really dope. Jasmine Jones. This shit fucked up because I dated her and I should know her last name. But yeah, so but yeah, shout out to
Damn.
Jazz, man. Shout out to Jazz. But yeah, we did it. We did an art show and it was dope. Like all the pieces had something to do with the project. Like we created this whole story line for the whole project, which, made the music kind of move better. It was a conceptual project. It is, and it's out now if y'all want to listen to it. But and we did pieces that reflected the story of that. And it was just dope. It was just dope how like creative they were to like do that. It was just dope, man. It was dope. And some of Emerald pieces that she used for that got published in magazines and stuff like that. Tiffany sold a lot of her work while we was there. That was the most beautiful thing
Yes.
about it. Not only did I make money from the show, but they made money from the show and they gained fans from it. That was a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So that
Wow.
that was
That's
one.
amazing.
I appreciate that, y'all. But that was dope. I did that. So, and then fast forward a couple months later, actually, I moved to California because I had this itch. Like me and Trelani was talking about this before we got on. Like, it's just like a heart should just tell us, okay, move here, move there. It's like it don't make sense to us. We don't know why, but we gonna do it because it's something there for us. And I moved
Yep,
to
exactly.
California. Right, it was a little setup better for me than what y'all had going on. You know what I'm saying? My pops, his family from out there, so I stayed with them. And my job, I transferred over there with them. But I
Mm.
didn't go over there with a lot of money though. I was damn near broke. You know what I'm saying? I saved up
Yeah.
1.5 paychecks to move over there. I literally made my mind up I was gonna move, and like 2 weeks later, I was gone. Like it was like that type of a thing.
Holy shit. I have been
Yes,
saving for years.
man. I thought,
So
man,
like I'm gone.
right. It just felt like everything was crumbling around me. So I felt like I
Yeah.
needed to leave a long time ago, but I stayed because it was working. But it was like something I was like, go, go, go. But then it was like everything that I was building felt like it was crumbling. Relationships, people, everything was just crumbling away from me. And I knew that I was growing and going to a different phase of my life. And I needed to move. So I
Mm.
did that. Like I say, I woke up one day and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna move. I called my people. I said, hey, can I move out there with y'all? Stay there, get on my feet a little bit, and I dip out. And they said, oh, yeah, it's all good. Literally 2 weeks later, I was gone. I drove cross country to California, moved out there with my people. You know what I'm saying? I worked my job. I wasn't getting paid nothing. The cost of living is high as a motherfucker out there. And like you say, you pay 14 for a studio. Like, granted, I was staying with my people, but I was making like $15, which is down the minimum wage out there, right? So I'm not making that much money. I'm doing extra shit to
Yeah.
kind of hustle up, trying to figure this shit out. And end up getting another job with the same company, which paid me more, a better wage. So now I can move out. I got my own space, everything good. But then I get this itch again. Move back. moved back to Georgia, but moved to Atlanta. And I was like, oh man, I don't know why, but shit, I'm gonna do it. It's something out there for me. But I realized why. It's because when I was out here, I was playing with my potential. I was just seeing what I can do. Okay, I could do that, I can do this. But when I move out there, everything was solidified. It was like, nah, you really are this person. You really can do this for real. Now go back out there and do it on purpose. Do it with intention.
Yes.
So that's what I'm doing. I did that move out there. I see them ants. I already know it's time to get it. It's time to get it. So that's my story, y'all. And
Yes.
that's my story.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like
So
you had to move out here to to
to find myself essentially.
yeah, you move out here to find yourself and like grow into the person that you need to be to get it done.
Right.
Yes.
And I find that when you move away from the distractions, because it's a distraction of people's opinions, their expectations on you, whether it be good or bad. When you move away from all of that and you only face with yourself and what you think about yourself and what you want to do with yourself, you really are faced with the truth. And
Straight
you get
up.
to tap into your most truest and authentic self. And once you do that, you can figure out, okay, I truly want to do this, or I truly feel like I can do this or I can't do. You know what I'm saying? And it just gives you a better perspective on yourself. So when you go back into that environment, at least for me, I came with a sense of confidence, a sense of knowing. It's like nobody can't
Word.
tell me shit about me or what I'm doing. Like I know that this is the right thing. I don't care what you think, don't care what you feel. I know this is what it is, and I'm gonna do it on purpose.
And you get that sense of like, God got me. Like I'm gonna be
Straight
straight
up.
either way. Cause like, yeah, when the DMV, man, cost of living was high as hell up there too. So
Right.
it's like, and I'm up there and what I'm making self-employment is something that's enough to like just get by. And I take a part-time job at Delta, and it's like, and that allows me to fly and keep in contact because I'm flying for free, but I ain't making no money. But it's like it just worked out. And so I was like, if
Right.
I could do this here, it's like it's never like my rent was almost $2,500. It was never a month that I mean I might have been like 5 days late on my rent one time, but like I always was okay. So like from that I was
Right.
like, God, I'm good. I'm
Straight up.
good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm
Straight up.
good.
Straight
Not
up.
just with money, but even like friendships. Like I went out there, I didn't know nobody. I didn't know nobody. Like, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden I met people that I'm still cool with and consider family now. I even met family. I actually met blood relatives, second cousins who my daddy didn't decide to tell me until I moved out there and was like, oh, you know, your
Yeah.
grandmama's sister live out there. And I got a whole family tree that I end
Right.
up meeting. You know what I'm saying? And one of them who let me stay with her and was like, I was like, well, how much do I need to give you a month? She's like, girl, you ain't got to. I just met this woman. And she's like, you ain't
Wow.
got to give me nothing. Like until
Wow.
I, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm good. So that's another thing I learned, like
Straight
going,
up.
making that leap, be like, God got me.
Straight up. God got us, man. You
God
know,
got
because God put these ideas and these feelings. This they God put it in our heart. God put it in our
uh-huh.
mind. And it's like I don't believe that God would do that just to set us up to fail. It's
No,
it's
no.
it's all for the greater good of our development. It's
Straight up.
of people, of spiritual beings. You know, it's all for the betterment of that. And it's like we should always follow them. And that's why I always, and I know it's not always easy, it's scary sometimes, but it's beauty on the other side of fear. It's beauty, and you all experienced it. I've experienced it. Some of the listeners have experienced this, but some of them need to hear our stories just to help them take that step, to take that leap, to do the thing that God put inside of them to do. Because, Lord, man, let me tell you, man, the world needs you. The world needs you to be that teacher. The world needs you to go back to school and learn what you. The world needs your book. The world needs it. We need you to be a doctor. We need you to be a lawyer, engineer. We need that. We need you to quit your job and take care of your children because it's greatness in them that you're help cultivating. We need that. The world needs all of that. So whatever it is that God put in and placing in your heart, people, do it, man. Do it. Do
Do
it.
it. Yeah, and it's not listen, shit's not easy. Like it's not gonna be easy, but also and me and Clay were talking about this the other day, like just like when you go through a lot of shit in life and it's just like, man, like, can I get a break? You're being prepped for future stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, if you can't work under pressure or you can't deal with these small stressors, you're not going to be able to handle the greatness that's in store for you down the road.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Beautifully said. And I think that we gave them the entree, we gave them the dessert too at the same time because that was sweet. Like it
Yeah.
was just for me, it was beautiful to hear y'all stories about how y'all took those leaps of faith and how much beauty transpired from it. You know, it's very beautiful to hear that, man.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the listeners enjoyed that too. And that's sweet, man. And we gave them the takeaway too. The takeaway is just do it, Nike. Just do it.
Just do
Just
it.
do it. You know, it's
Yep.
not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. No, it's not. It's not gonna be easy all the time, but it's worth it.
It's so
So,
worth it. And
so
come
much.
up with a plan. You know, if you feel overwhelmed, you know, my sister gave me this advice the other day. If you feel stuck in a job that you hate, give yourself a 6-month plan.
There you go.
Give yourself a 12-month plan and sit and write it down because when you write something down, it's powerful.
There we go. And that's
Yeah.
something I'm starting to get into more myself. Writing those things out, writing them down, you know,
Yeah.
making them concrete.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they call it spelling for a reason.
Yep.
Mm. Drop that bar on them real quick. But no, beautiful people, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of The Kitchen Table. As always, you already know we're going to get y'all full of that food for thought, people. Until next time, peace
Yes.
out. Much love, everybody. Oh, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure y'all subscribe so you can stay up to date. And also, we are everywhere where podcasts are at. So just type us in, man, and look for that little, you know, that blue logo with the black background, the kitchen table, because we is out here, baby. We out here.
Out here.
And
And
out.
we is out. There we go. Straight like that.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all. Peace.